Good rising. Happy Wednesday to all of my Hebrew Israelites out there, scattered into all nations. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope your day, morning, night, wherever you are, I hope it's going well. And the reason why I'm saying that, obviously it's dark right now, but it's morning time over here on the East Coast where I'm at, right? But I know we got Israelites scattered into all nations. My bad, bro. So a lot of our people, they in all these different countries, and they have a different time zone than I do, and some of the brothers and sisters do who are here in America. So it may be morning, afternoon, evening, night, depending on wherever you at. Shout out to all the 12 tribes of Israel, scattered into all nations. They live amongst us, but they are not like us. Something that your church is hid from you, something that your government is hid. Excuse me. The church and the government, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. Your church, your government, all of your agencies, they are all in cahoots with the devil that the Bible speaks of, to oppress and to keep the Most High chosen's people down. That's the job of every church. That's the job of every religion. That's the job of every government on this earth. Excuse me. They live amongst us, feeding off of our energy. And because of your government, because of your church, because of all of these false entities that you have around you, many of our people, when I say our, I'm talking about the Israelites, many of our people are never going to realize that we got a lot of people on this earth. Well, I'm not going to call them people. They are not human. Okay? I got to say that again. We have lots of entities walking around on this earth, blending in with humans, but they are not like us. They're not human, okay? And the reason why many of our people have a hard time understanding that is because most of our people follow Psalms 83, the Gentiles. Psalms 83 has caused so much lies, deception, and trouble to the Israelites. That's why most people on earth, you don't understand. You take things for face value. Just like all this stuff going on in America right now with all this immigrant stuff, right? Most of God's chosen people, you're still blinded by Psalms 83. You take things as face value because Esau says so. And that's what many of you do out there. When are you gonna stop playing around and realize that there's no new thing under the sun? The Most High God doesn't change. And there's no new thing under the sun. If there's no new thing under the sun, when you really understand worldly history and biblical history, you know that there have always been entities among us, living among us, that are not human. Okay? You can call them Nephilim. You can call them, I don't know, you call them whatever you want to call them. It really doesn't matter to me what you call these things. The point is, you following Psalms 83. Psalms 83 told you, don't read this, don't read that. And many of our people say, sure, Mr. Esau, you said don't read this, you said don't read that. So you're going to be walking around oblivious. You're going to conduct yourself in a way that you ought not, because you think that everybody on this earth is human. You think that everybody on this earth is human. Just because people got 2 arms, 2 legs, and are walking around upright does not mean they are human. That's why in some of them Old Testament stories, the Hebrew Israelites would go in different towns, different cities, and they would have to put every single person in that town to death. You know why? Because those people were not human. That may be hard for a lot of you to understand out there. But because you don't understand these things and you never really consider these things, many of you don't even believe that. Even when you read it in the scriptures, you read it and you'll say, yeah, I believe that. But if things haven't changed and the Most High don't change, wouldn't that mean that there are still people walking around on this earth that are not human? But they living amongst us though. Wouldn't that explain some of the behavior and some of the activity of people that we think are human? But you see some of the heinous things that these people do, and you be like, yo, a human being did that? I'm telling you to open your eyes, Hebrew. Recalibrate your system, Hebrew. And realize not everybody on this earth is human, although they live amongst us. And since now, definitely in America, we have the whole entire world under our roof. If you want to believe that all these people are human, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? And here's another thing. A lot of these things walking around planet Earth that are not human, they hate the Israelites. I gotta make sure you understand that, Hebrew. Hit the like button as you come through the door. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Most of these people out here who are not human, well, all of these things that are not human, they despise the Most High's chosen people because they're monsters. They're not human. There is no new thing under the sun. There were people walking around in the Old Testament days who had 2 arms and 2 legs, but they were not human, and they despised the Israelites. And I'm telling you right now, there are things walking around on this earth, things walking around here in America. Psalms 83 is right here in America. There's a heavy concentration of Psalms 83 right here in America. And I'm telling you niggas right now, there's a portion of these people that are not even human. And I can see some little weak Israelite out there crying now, no, please, don't talk about Psalms 83 like that. This ain't for you, okay? If you want to try to talk to the Israelites and tell us not to talk down on Psalms 83, I know you're not ready. You're not. And you definitely don't believe Psalms 83 in the Tanakh. You don't believe that. Because if you did, you wouldn't tell me to not speak down on Psalms 83. That's how I know you don't believe. Jay says, yo. Clem says, WSG, whatever that means. Wag, yo. Sugar FN. Sugar FN says, yo. Sugar FN says, make me a mod. Sugar FN, I don't even know you, Sugar FN. Who are you, Sugar FN? Hey, Sugar FN, how about when you come into the live stream, you at least say who you are? I don't even know who you are. I never seen you before. How am I gonna make you a mod? I never heard of you or seen you before. Family, you better stop living in La La Land. The book of Daniel tells you, and I'm paraphrasing, they shall mingle themselves among the seed of men. What do you think that's talking about? Can you not tell by the verbiage? Whoever this is or whatever this is that is mingling themselves among the seed of men, does that sound like another human being to you? Listen to the verbiage. I know many of you, it's going to go right over your head because of the church. The church is diabolically wicked. The Gentiles are diabolically wicked. They think that they have some kind of authority to tell you what things mean, but they don't. It's the church who told you, don't read this, don't read that. That's why many of you will never read the book of Enoch. You'll never read anything in Jubilees, Jasher, the Apocrypha, any of the other books that your enemies tell you not to read. You're not going to read them because you're nice and obedient. And many of you, you're never going to understand that there's nothing new under the sun. The Most High God does not change. And since there's nothing new under the sun, that means that there are people walking around on this earth pretending to be human beings, but they're really real life monsters. They will mingle themselves amongst the seed of men. If anybody's going to be honest, and you just read that and listen to the verbiage, you can tell whatever this is, mingling themselves among the seed of men, they're not the seed of men. That's why it says like iron and clay, but they won't bond together, they won't mix together, because you're not supposed to mix together. You're not human, and you're trying to mingle yourself with the seed of men. And it's been going on since the Old Testament days. Nobody wants to deal with it. And because nobody wants to deal with it, you have what you have going on worldwide and right here in America. Some of those Old Testament stories, the Israelites was going into these lands, a lot of these Hamite lands to be specific, going into these lands of Ham, and they were encountering all kind of people who were not fully human. These people were something else other than human. It's demonic, and it's still going on. And these things, because they're not human, they're things, entities, mingling themselves with the children of men, they hate the Israelites. But most of you forget, or even you don't know because you won't read anything other than what these monsters told you can read. So you guys and gals don't know that there's something on this earth that ain't human mixing themselves with the seed of men, but they will not cleave one to another because they're not supposed to be mingling with the seed of men. That's why you see some of these so-called people commit crimes and atrocities that are so heinous, you left scratching your head saying, wow, I can't believe a human being would do this. And sometimes you're right. A human being would not do some of these things that you've been seeing. You've been giving people too much leniency and credit, wanting to love them, wanting to befriend them, be kind to them. And you don't know it's so many things walking around this earth and they are not human at all. And you falling into great trouble because of it. The 12 tribes of Israel are oppressed on every side. No matter what land we in, we are all oppressed. And I'm telling you, some of these so-called Gentiles or whatever you want to call them that are oppressing us, some of these people are not human. And for y'all to think that this far-fetched, it lets me know how deep your knowledge goes. This was always a thing in the Old Testament. That's why some of those Old Testament Hebrews had to go town to town, and they were commanded to destroy and unalive every single person in that town. You know why? Because it was things running around in those towns that were not human. And they had mingled themselves among the seed of men. But today, many of you, I don't know what you're thinking. You're not thinking properly. That I do know, but I don't know what some of y'all are thinking. You actually think that everybody on this earth is human. You actually think that Psalms 83 is a decent bunch of people. I don't know what the hell is wrong with some of y'all out there. Yeah, you're clinically insane. That's the only thing I can think of. You're clinically insane. These people have been living, not people, these things have been living amongst us ever since the Old Testament days. But because your church told you, hey boy, don't read this, don't read that, boy. Those books aren't canonized, Ak. You're going off, Ak. Michael Clark says, said hi. What's up, Michael Clark? Michael Clark says, you are very right. It's that seed of the serpent. Nobody wants to talk about that. People want to act like something has changed. It's always been things walking around this earth, and they are not human. And they've been hiding in plain sight. And once again, look at that Old Testament. The Israelites, when they were around these Hamite lands, they encountered a lot of people who the Most High told them, I want you to unalive everybody in that town. Some of y'all, your mind can't stretch around the block that far to understand that. Oh no, that's hateful. You don't know what's going on. And just like right now, definitely in America, Psalms 83, the whole entire earth is up under one roof. If you think we don't have a lot of these things walking around that ain't human, I don't know what to tell you. And all of these things hate the 12 tribes of Israel. There's no such thing as an entity on this earth who mingled themselves with the seed of men that ain't human that loves God's people. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? These are the people who you are surrounded by on your land, right here in America. You got so many Hamites and so many other people. You don't know who these people are, but yet you want to extend your arm in love and compassion. And that shows me really how deep many of our brothers and sisters, it shows me how deep that your knowledge goes. Many of you, your knowledge is only surface level. You only want to deal with the things that are comfortable. So you're going to gloss over the book of Daniel. You're going to gloss right over it when it says, and they will mingle themselves among the seed of men. Once again, listen to that verbiage, which many of you, you're not going to listen to it, even though I'm pointing it out to you right now. The Israelites will always have people around them who are not human, who hate their guts. What do you see going on right now in America with all of these other people who are not Israelites on our land? If you don't think that there's a good portion of these people who are not human, once again, I know how deep your knowledge goes, and it doesn't go too deep. Daniel told you they would mingle themselves among the seed of men. What do you think that means? Something mingling themselves among the seed of men is letting you know that whoever or whatever this is is not the seed of man. And that's why it says like the iron and the clay, they won't mix. Okay, because you're not supposed to be mingling yourself with something that's not human. And many of you, you're not going to understand that. Many of you out there, you're going to reject that, of course, which means nothing to me. My job is just to bring out the truth. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, hey. Michael Clark Jr. says, Nephilim. Michael Clark Jr., you are correct. And many of God's chosen people, they don't want to deal with this. They still, many of the Israelites still got the Christian mindset. J.R. Meadows, what's going on, fam? J.R. Meadows says, thumbs up, people. AM hours. That's right. It's 5:22 East Coast time, y'all. East Coast in the house. Shout out to J.R. Meadows and shout out to everybody else on this live stream. Hit this like button and share this. People need to see this. A lot of people we got right here in America, y'all. Especially the other people who are not Israelites. If you're not an Israelite, you're other people, okay? There's a portion of these other people who are not even people. They are literal, real-life monsters. What do you call somebody who's not a human, but they're mingling themselves with the seed of men? I call that a monster. I call that something from another galaxy or something from another realm. It ain't human. And they don't like the Israelites. They hate the Israelites. And they mingle themselves with the seed of men, and they get these other people to act against us. They always have. Have you not read the Old Testament? Have you not read the Old Testament? And you know a lot of stuff they took out of the Bible, a lot of stuff they added in. J.R. Meadows says, bots, etc. Facts. Facts. Why are the heathen raising? Why are the heathen raising, y'all? Why do we have so many people in America right now, they're not Israelites, and they're raising? Well, one, because they're Gentiles. Gentiles are just naturally, they wicked, all right? Born speaking lies. Not my words, it's in the Tanakh. They're born speaking lies. They come forth speaking lies. That's what they do. And then you got a good portion of them who are not even human. It was that way in the Old Testament. That's why Joshua and Moses and them had to go to certain towns and unalive everybody there. Because everybody there had been corrupted. They had something in them that was not human, making them not human. It's diabolical. They live amongst us, and they always have. And that's why you're getting a lot of raging right now amongst these heathens here in America and abroad. And like I'm gonna keep on saying it once again, a lot of that stuff was going on in those Hamite areas. You let that resonate. Because when you understand a lot of that stuff was going on in those Hamite areas, you understand that what? The Hamites got skin like God's chosen people. It's brown or black. So what does that mean? If there's no new thing under the sun, and a lot of these things that was not human came and they had a lot of sex with the people in the Hamite areas, for sure. So what does that tell you? That there are a lot of so-called people walking around this earth in the other nations and in America. They got skin like you and me, but they're not fully human. In fact, you're not human at all. You're offspring of an unholy entity, not even a human being, not even a man or a woman. You're a monster. Yeah, and I know y'all don't want to hear that. I don't care. I deal with reality. A lot of people in those Hamite parts, and the Hamites are not your friend. They never have been, okay? A lot of those people, you don't know what they are, who they are, where they come from. But you do know one thing. A lot of Hamites are in America. Now, is that surprising now when you see how the Hamites feel about the Israelites? I don't care where you at, whether you in Africa, Egypt, America, the Hamites have never liked you and they never will. And y'all, you want to keep glossing over and acting like It wasn't a lot of Hamite territories that had these things living there, living inside of them. I don't know what to tell you. Excuse me. And they're still living amongst us right now today. That's why you got a lot of people, you be like, oh man, they're black just like me. Why do they hate the Israelites? Because they ain't just like you. These things have never left the earth, y'all. And once you start to look at it through a lens like that, because that's the way it is, you'll start to have a little more understanding. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I might come back for just another minute or two later on. We're not going to have a live stream this evening, though. We'll pick the live stream back up on Friday. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm out.